What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel for today's 4K Blu-ray review. Today's 4K takes us back to 1989 for the John Candy comedy classic, Uncle Buck. For the first time being available on 4K, Kino Lorber put out this 2-disc set in their standard design, slipcover. Inside, nothing special. 4K and a Blu-ray disc. Special features are on the Blu-ray disc, which is odd considering it's only an hour and 40 minutes long. I grew up with this movie, so it's always had a special place in my heart. I was 11 when I saw it for the first time, and I saw it many times since then. And it's great for viewers of all ages. You have a young Macaulay Culkin in what could have been his first movie, because in the very next year he came out with Home Alone. And of course, for all viewers, you have the comedic legend of John Candy, who passed far too young.
You ever hear of a ritual killing? How did it? You know how to face in public like that again and you'll be one.
This movie is a hoot from start to finish, and it's all carried by John Candy, who plays the forgotten uncle who comes in at the last minute to watch the three kids. This film has many requotable lines that are just as memorable as the film itself. And even though this film is a comedy, it still has some really good values that we should all cherish, and it has a good heart to it. Let's get into it. When the father of Cindy Russell has a heart attack, she and her husband Bob have no choice but to call his brother Buck to come watch their kids so they can travel to Indianapolis. Uncle Buck, a child trapped in a man's body, tries to hold down the fort, acting as the father figure to the three kids. While the younger kids get along fine with Buck, the oldest daughter, Tia, and Buck are at odds the entire movie. What turned into a getaway from everyday life turns into the battle of wills for Buck and Tia, as Buck tries to do the best he can and not cause an outright disaster. Apparently, Kino Lorber went back to the original camera negative for this 1:8:5:1 image in both Dolby Vision and HDR. It's obvious they did because it looks pretty terrific. Color detail has never looked so good for this movie, and I've seen it many times over the years, and I can say without a doubt it's fantastic. Colors routinely popped, like John Candy's wearing the yellow rubber gloves or the bright blue sky, and blacks were as dark as night. It is very reassuring to see the studios going back and taking the time to develop a great looking image, and it shows the care that they've put into it. I did notice that some of the facial tones seem to be a tad soft, but that's really all I could complain about.
Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
Audio was in DTS 5.1 HD that might as well be called DTS 2.0 HD, because there wasn't much surround usage that I could hear, as it was mainly front speaker focused. Granted, this is a comedy, so I wasn't too worried. There was a lot of low frequency effects in this movie, but it did almost seem to be a little too much for the rest of the audio. It was almost like it was a few decibels higher than it needed to be. With that being said, the sound of Buck's car backfiring sounded terrific. I also like the inclusion of the bass from Tone Loc's Wild Thing. Special features were included on the Blu-ray disc, which included 2 commentary tracks, a new interview with Jean Louisa Kelly looking back at this movie, an audition video of Macaulay Culkin, and some trailers for other Kino Lorber films. That's about it. This is another must-own 4K from a comedy classic from the 1980s that never looked better than this. 9 out of 10. Well, that's today's 4K Blu-ray review. Come back again. See what else we're watching.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share, bruh.